Good morning. My name is Catherine Daw, principal of Triton High School. On behalf of the faculty and administration of Triton, I am happy to welcome parents, guardians, relatives, and friends of our graduates to the 2014 commencement ceremony. We request that everyone remain in their seats during the entire ceremony in order to extend every courtesy to all in attendance. Photographs can be taken at the podium after the graduates march out at the end of the ceremony. Thank you for your understanding and respecting our wishes. It is a distinct honor and a great pleasure to present to you the graduates of the class of 2014.
else is here.
These
Yep, they're all here, and Senator Tar is here.
And Tim?
Yes. Right?
Please remain standing for the national anthem. At this time, I ask all of us to observe a moment of silence in memory of the members of our armed forces who have lost their lives in service and those that serve our nation today. Thank you. Please be seated. I would like to begin introducing our guests for today's ceremony and ask them to briefly rise when their name is announced. The chairperson of the Triton Regional School Committee, Ms. Deborah Choate. And members of the school committee, Suzanne Densmore, Monique Grelick, Mr. Paul Lees, Ms. Mary Murphy, Ms. Dina Sullivan, and Ms. Robin Williams. I would like to recognize the selectmen from our towns. From Newbury, Mr. Charles Bear and Mr. Jeff Walker. From Rowley, Mr. Robert Merry, Mr. Joseph Perry, and Mr. Bob Snow. From Salisbury, Mr. Don Bolio, Mr. Ed Hunt, Mr. Henry Richenberg, and Ms. Wilma McDonald. I would like to recognize Massachusetts State Representative, the Honorable Lenny Mira. And also want to recognize Massachusetts State Senator, the Honorable Bruce Tarr. I would like to recognize the school district central office administrators, Mr. Christopher Farmer, Superintendent of Schools, and Mr. Brian Forget, Assistant Superintendent of Schools. It is with both pride and respect that I acknowledge the faculty, staff, and administrators present at our graduation exercise from the high school, the middle school, and each of our elementary schools. I ask the graduates and all of our guests to join me in applauding the professionals for their competence and dedication. At this time, we will hear remarks from our Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Farmer.
Good morning, members of the General Court, members of the School Committee, selectmen, Principal Dorr, families and friends, class of 2014. Thank you to you all for being here this morning for this important occasion on which we come together to recognize the graduating class and to wish them well on their onward journey. In doing so, I want to recognize immediately the critical role of friends and families fully engaged in supporting their students through 13 years of public education and all that involves. Thank you so much for your partnership with our schools. At the end of the senior week, it also falls to me to say other thank yous. To Chris Walsh and his staff for preparing the facilities, to school administration in its entirety, and the faculty for organizing and supporting the many events that mark the last days of school for seniors. And to Susan Densmore and Bob Lathrop and their musicians, including the alumni who have joined them today, for the important part they play in these celebrations. Before I go any further, I do want to explain that what I'm wearing is not costume from a Potter film. My college was established in 1485. Most of the professors were clerics. Many of the students were clerics, and those who weren't clerics wanted to be clerics. And the result is that some of the costume that they wore in those days remains part of the formal academic dress of my university. Many of the opportunities our students enjoy are made possible by a host of volunteer efforts, whether they be the PTAs and boosters, Tempo and TEF, or the Institution for Savings, or the invaluable support of many individuals. I want to thank them all for their continuing support. My thanks also go to our talented and committed teachers and staff. I'm very proud to call them my colleagues. I do want to mention two of the retiring high school staff who are retiring this year, Karen Atherton and Diane Shealy. I'm sure we all wish them a long, fulfilling, and happy retirement. On this day of celebration, I'm not going to dwell on the fortitude of teachers and administrators in dealing with a raft of unreasonable and unfunded state mandates, but will turn now to address my remaining remarks to the graduating class. It's always invidious to mark out individuals, but we are 70 years and one day before the Normandy landings. My father participated in them, and I think we should recognize those students who are about to join the military. If they would stand when I call their name: Thomas Howell, U.S. Air Force; Nathan Sabatini, U.S. Navy; Taylor Ramsey, U.S. Army; Alexei Swicker, U.S. Army; and Sidney Marino, Community College of the U.S. Air Force. When I started preparing graduation addresses, which I usually do the morning of the event, I think back to my performance as Polonius in a 1952 production of Hamlet. You may recall that Polonius was the slightly ineffectual, doddering elderly man who was interfering and eventually got stabbed behind a curtain. I think of him because of his interaction with his son Laertes, Hamlet's friend. Laertes was about to go on a journey, and even if you don't know the play, you probably know some of the lines, neither a borrower nor a lender be. Unto thyself be true, as the night is the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man, and so on. But I don't think that today I need to give you that kind of advice, or to draw your attention to the fact that the world into which you're going is challenging, often capricious, often unfair, and fraught with profound inequalities. Instead, I'm turning not to Shakespeare, but to text which I believe well characterizes you, the class of 2014. I have a slightly edited version of Robert Fulgram's All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. The piece goes like this. These are the things I learned. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Most importantly, live a balanced life. Learn some and think some, and draw and paint and sing and dance and play and work every day some. Take a nap in the afternoon. And when you go out into the world, watch out for traffic, hold hands, and stick together. Now, why is this relevant to the class of 2014? I will lost my place for the moment. Why is it relevant? Well, because I've admired your successes in so many fields of endeavor, your scholarship and your many successes. For example, as individual and team state champions, the recognition you have received in DECA competition, in play authorship and performance, in an award-winning musical, the recognition of our artists by the Boston Globe, or winning the People's Choice Award at a recent MIT invention competition. More because so many of you have made so powerful and varied contributions to the multiple areas of school life. Beyond that, I've seen a class which has demonstrated many of life's virtues: mutual support, resilience, determination in the face of challenge, a strong sense of fairness, success without arrogance, student leadership that is ready to talk truth to power with grace and diplomacy, and an extraordinary collective spirit. If you can hold on to these habits, you will carry your collective commitment to the common good into the lives you will make for yourselves and others in the years ahead. Thank you for the leadership that you provided the school over the past year. Congratulations on your graduation day, and my warmest good wishes for the future. Go Vikings!
We will now listen to an instrumental selection performed by our high school band. Our first honors speaker is the student with the second highest grade point average over 4 years, the Salutatorian of the class of 2014, Devin Schumann, as Salutatorian. Devin's theme will be the past.
Good morning, graduates of the class of 2014, and congratulations. It certainly has been a tough journey, but we can finally say we did it. After 4 grueling years of schoolwork, studying, writing essays, taking tests, begging our teachers for extra credit opportunities, we have finally finished and earned ourselves the right to start all over and go to another school for another 4 years. Of course, not everybody here today will be going to college next year. Some graduates have elected to enter the workforce, which is a smart decision because that means that for the next 4 years, they will get to see something that will be foreign to us college students: money. They will make a living while we all drown in debt and ramen noodles. Other graduates have made a different decision for their futures. So I'd like everyone to give a quick round of applause to those seniors who have made the brave and honorable choice to join the armed services next year. Thank you. We're all grateful for your courage and your sacrifice. When Ms. Daw called Nicole and me down to her office back in early May to inform us that we had to give speeches today, I was honored. Never in my 4 years here had I been tasked with such an important project. Mr. Parsons' article reviews and Mr. Boyle's online timelines paled in comparison to the job I had in front of me. I had to deliver a speech in front of hundreds of people, a speech which would, in the course of a few minutes, sum up and commemorate our 4 wonderful years here, and I only had a month to write it. So, with this immensely important and difficult task in front of me, I went about it the best way I thought possible, which was I waited until the very last minute before even thinking about what to write. That's right, even with this speech, my final high school project ever, I did what high schoolers do best. I procrastinated. And when I finally buckled down to write, I realized how hard it was going to be. High school is a major chunk of our lives, quite possibly the most important 4 years we'll ever experience. It's a time of change, of friendships and relationships, of learning, not only book learning, but life learning. It's a time of awkwardness and self-discovery. It's a time, unfortunately, of puberty. But it's also when we learn how to act as human beings. It's a place we enter as young boys and girls, but exit as mature men and women. Most importantly, high school is a time of memories. When we look back on our lives, some of our richest, most beloved memories will come from this building right here. So how was I supposed to capture all that in one speech? Most salutatorians like to use the 4 years here as a structure for their speech, explaining what happened in freshman year and then sophomore year and then junior and senior year. However, I'm not usually one to follow the crowd, as anybody who saw my hairstyle in 6th grade well knows. Blonde highlights weren't my best choice, and I certainly have not heard the end of it. Anyways, for me, high school is not a story best told chronologically. What's important is not what changed from year to year, but rather the content of our cumulative time here. So for my speech, I'm going to recount what high school has taught us and what I like to think of as the 5 most important lessons we have learned at Triton. Now, these aren't just math equations or history dates or SparkNotes passages we skimmed over on our phones a period before a reading quiz. These are real important life lessons that we will take with us as we enter the real world. The first lesson is that even the smartest people in life make mistakes. Nobody, no matter how intelligent, successful, rich, or famous they are, is perfect, and from time to time, everybody is going to make a poor decision. Now, this lesson, of course, is drawn from my memory of sophomore year, standing out front with the rest of the school and watching our own chemistry teacher, Mr. McBee, sprint out the doors in his lab coat with smoke pouring out behind him while firemen entered the building. That's right, Mr. McBee, who is, and believe me, I've had him for 2 years, one of the smartest people you'll ever meet, almost single-handedly accomplished what we all have at one point fantasized about doing, which is blow up the school. And although all of our hearts sank a little when we heard that the firemen had fixed the situation and the school was not going to burn to the ground, we learned an important lesson that day. Don't be discouraged if you make a mistake in life, because it happens to everybody. In fact, you should take pride in your errors. If you do everything perfectly, it means you're not taking risks, not trying something new or challenging yourself. Nobody ever accomplished anything great without first making a few mistakes. This leads right into the second lesson, which is that failing is not as bad as we sometimes make it out to be. In high school, we're told that failing is the end of the world, that we better do whatever we can to get our grades up and not score below a 60. However, looking out over the crowd, I guarantee you that not everybody here today passed every class and every test they took in their 4 years here, and yet you're all still sitting here in your cap and gown and fairly soon your diploma. Even me, I'm salutatorian, which means that the school says I'm the second smartest student at Triton, and even I received, at one point on my report card, a B+. Now, I know you're probably thinking that a B+ is not the equivalent of failing, and if you do believe that, I would urge you to tell that to my parents, because I've yet to convince them otherwise. Even adults fail. Take Mr. Bridgewater. Every day, Mr. Bridgewater tries his hardest to dress and act hip and cool in front of his students, and each and every day he fails. But darn it, he always comes back the next day and tries even harder. Failing is not by any means the end of the world. If you want to be great at something, to truly be successful at it, then you're going to have to fail at it first. My third lesson, and though it sounds a little cliche, is very important, and that is to enjoy the little things. In life, we sometimes have the tendency to move from big event to only focus on the watershed moments. We look forward to the math final on Thursday and the lacrosse game on Saturday, and then the student council meeting next Wednesday. However, because high school students have to deal with all the stress and anticipation that go along with these big events, they develop the keen ability to enjoy little moments, to enjoy the little unimportant things that bring a smile to their face. Maybe it's popcorn chicken day for lunch. Maybe your least favorite teacher is absent and isn't there to check the homework you forgot to do. Maybe you get to school a little bit early and you get to rest your eyes for a few minutes before either going to class on time or to the office if you're late, a rule which we were so well and often reminded of this year. As you move on in life, try to hold on to this skill you learned in high school. It's easy to get lost in the big picture, so remember to slow down to enjoy those little things. As Ferris Bueller once put it, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. High school is the first time in our lives that we're forced to make truly important choices. What classes should I take? What sports should I play? Should I play sports? Should I do more clubs? Should I go out tonight or stay in and study? Should I do my homework during my free period or just take a nap? And as with most important decisions, we often find ourselves at a crossroads, straight out of Robert Frost's old poem. We either do what everybody else does, what is expected of us, or we take that road less traveled. And this brings me to my fourth lesson, which is to do what you want to do. Never feel pressured by the flow of the crowd. Find your niche in life. Find what it is that you're passionate about, that you want to wake up every morning and do, and pursue it. Don't feel like your life is ever pre-planned or set in stone. Pave your own path. For my fifth and final lesson, and yeah, you heard that right, I'll be off the stage shortly. I'm going to loop back around to my original topic of procrastination. Not procrastination in the sense of, I'll just set my alarm an hour early and get my homework done in the morning, but procrastination in the sense of that it's never too late to accomplish something great. Here's a fun fact I recently came across. J.K. Rowling did not get the first Harry Potter book published until she was 32, after it had been rejected by 12 different publishers. Now, I know it's a little nerdy to talk about Harry Potter in my graduation speech, but you don't get to be salutatorian without having a little bit of nerd in you. Anyways, the real lesson we can take out of this fact is that you will never reach a point in your life where you have run out of time to succeed at whatever it is you wish to succeed at. Anybody who has saved a project or an essay until the very last minute knows how much can get done in a small amount of time. So take that with you in life. I'm not saying that you should aim to procrastinate. I'm saying that though you might fail and though you might make mistakes, never say it's too late to do something with yourself. So those are the 5 most important lessons we've learned at Triton. Again, I urge you to keep those with you as you go on to conquer the road ahead. And before I conclude, I'd like to leave you with one final thought, a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. Thank you, class of 2014, and congratulations.
We will now listen to a choral selection performed by our Triton singers. This year's selection was composed and written by Connor Fosher, a member of the class of 2014.
I don't know where we're going, but we're going somewhere. And I don't know what we're doing, and it makes me scared. Oh, we had a lot of fun, but it's time we leave here. Oh, our story is wrap it up, so wherever you're going, wish you good luck. Oh, I can't sugarcoat things and I can't pretend. I know we have to move on, but this won't be the end. Oh, these years have drifted on by. We've booed, we've cheered, we've laughed and we've cried. Oh, this year is almost over, and I can't say goodbye. Oh, our story is wrap it up, so wherever you're going, wish you good luck. Oh, I can't sugarcoat things and I can't pretend. I know we have to move on, but this won't be the end. This won't be the end. So before it's the end, oh, take your time. Don't waste your time, 'cause someday it'll all be gone. You want to go back, then you'll have to move on. Oh, I love how I spend my time. Oh, I'm glad you were in my life. And even as we go our separate ways, we'll always remember these glory days. For our story is wrapping up, so wherever you're going, wish you good luck. Oh, I can't sugarcoat things, and I can't pretend. I know we have to move on, but this won't be the end. This won't be the end. This won't be the end. This won't be the end, the end, the end. Oh, this is bittersweet, so my best luck I will send. I know we have to move on, but this won't be the end.
Thank you very much, Connor Fosher, for that gift to our class and to our school. Our second honors speaker is the student with the highest grade point average over 4 years, the valedictorian of the class of 2014, Nicole Indignaro. As valedictorian, Nicole's theme will be the future.
There's a water for you right there. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us in this celebration. To all of today's fellow graduates, congratulations. We have reached the first of many milestones in our lives. I'm sure everyone is impatiently waiting for their name to be called so they can receive their diplomas and head off to some sort of graduation party, so I will keep my remarks brief. First, I want to take this opportunity to thank everyone that has helped me and my classmates throughout these past 13 years of school. To all of the parents, grandparents, friends, teachers, principals, vice principals, our class advisors, Mrs. Lamb and Mr. Andrews, and anyone else I may be accidentally forgetting who has shaped who we are today, we wouldn't have reached this point without your support. For those of you that know me well, it is likely you are aware of my irrational fear of speaking in front of people, whether it be a small class presentation or even worse, a large crowd like this. However, this being said, I could not be more proud and honored to have the opportunity to address our class, the Triton class of 2014. A few weeks ago, Devin and I were asked to prepare a speech for today. As you heard a few moments ago, he talked about the past, and I was assigned to discuss the future. This posed two immediate problems. First, unlike your local fortune teller, I have no idea what the future holds. And second, I had to follow Devin, who you all now know is a great speaker. This speech is officially my final assignment at Triton, but I must admit it was also one of the hardest. Convincing myself to start was the hard part, but I soon realized that this assignment has no wrong answers, and more importantly, I'm not being graded. so that took some of the pressure off. As I thought about what the future could hold for us, I realized that the cool thing about the future is no one knows what is going to happen. It is totally unpredictable, a great unknown, and that is what makes it so exciting. Tomorrow we start with a clean slate. The possibilities are endless. Now, fellow graduates, bear with me for a moment and take a second to look to the person to your left, and now to your right, and all around you. You may be sitting next to a best friend, someone you played a sport with, or maybe someone you only saw a few times a month during homeroom. Take a second now to think back to how much you have changed since you were in elementary school, walking in a single file line around the school. Or even since you were a quirky middle schooler attending the first dance. Definitely very awkward. Each one of us has grown tremendously during high school and will continue to keep growing. So now, flash forward 20 years. You may be able to look back to this day and realize that you are next to a president, a doctor with a cure for cancer, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, or better yet, maybe even the next American Idol. How awesome would that be? Tomorrow we start a new adventure. What your future holds, I cannot guarantee, but I know it will be full of unpredictable twists and surprises along the way, just like high school, hopefully with everything playing out in your favor in the end. I can reassure you all that Triton has prepared us for what the future holds. We have all grown up during the past 4 years, whether you recognize these changes or not. There will be great things in all of our futures as we venture off into the real world on our own. Soon, we will be faced with new responsibilities, like paying our own rent, having to make our own dinner, and doing our own laundry. Clearly, these aren't the most exciting things to look forward to, but I do know that there are a few specific things you can look forward to as graduates of Triton. From now on, you will be able to drink coffee at any time of the day, not just first period. You will no longer need an escort to retrieve your belongings from your car, or have to worry about the sprint to your first period class at the sound of that second bell. And best of all, you won't need a permission slip to go to the bathroom. Those are just a few of the small freedoms we will enjoy upon graduating. We will earn the scary privilege of determining the path for the remainder of our lives. Whether you are planning on attending college, a prep school, have enlisted in the military, have a job planned, or are simply planning on taking some time off, you will be faced with many decisions, and with these decisions come uncertainty. When I first started writing this speech, I had attempted to find a motivational quote about the future. Instead, I came across one by George Harrison, who was one of the Beatles. He sang in his song, "Any Road," "If you don't know where you are going, any road will take you there." This is also a reference from the book Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll, which was later made into the movie starring Johnny Depp. This passage links the crazy Cheshire Cat giving Alice advice about the future when she is lost and doesn't know where to head next. Anyway, where I'm going with all this rambling is the Cheshire Cat, along with Harrison, are saying that even if you are unsure how to achieve something or aren't 100% sure as to what decision is best, ultimately you should have a goal, whether this be finding a job or choosing a major, fulfilling a dream to learn to play an instrument. Although you may be uncertain how to achieve that goal, as long as you choose a path and start your journey, you will reach happiness in the end. In other words, if you are unsure of what the future holds for you, as I and many others probably are, you just need to take a chance and keep an open mind. As you embark on your journey, you'll find a way. I can assure you, whatever path you choose will not be perfect. You will encounter challenges, there will be struggles, and you will experience failure, but never be discouraged. As many of my teachers have said to me, you learn the most from your mistakes. It is by our own failures that we can improve ourselves as people. Up to this point, we have all made mistakes. These can be as simple as waiting until the last minute and having to pull an all-nighter to write your iSearch paper, making a mistake during a game, or even sleeping through a class. Hopefully, we learn from these experiences and become wiser. Nobody is a perfect person. I know I'm certainly not. We have all learned lessons the hard way, but the important thing is to persevere and never give up. One of the mistakes I made in high school was worrying about what everyone else thought. Like my fear of speaking in front of people, I also had the fear of disappointing people. I have learned from these mistakes, though. I discovered, thanks to many of you, that life isn't just about pleasing others or being practical all the time, but pursuing things that you have the most interest in. My senior year was easily my favorite, not only because I got to spend it with all of you, but because I grasped the concept that you shouldn't go through life always doing exactly what everyone expects you to do. Many of my friends taught me that I should do things I enjoy, regardless of what others think. It took me a while to learn this lesson, but this is the message I hope to get across to each of you here today. As you all go forward and begin a new chapter in your lives, do what makes you most happy. Naturally, you will also have to do things that perhaps aren't the most exciting. You can't escape paying bills or going into work every day. But overall, you should be pursuing activities and goals that make you feel good about yourself. In the wise words of Mrs. Norton, you only have one pass at life, so make the best of it while you can. To me, and maybe of many of you, the uncertainty of the future can be scary. There is much uncertainty in the world today, including concerns about the environment, the economy, and, hitting a bit closer to home, how you are going to pay for college. But the future can be better, and we have the power to influence that future. Each one of us can make an impact on the lives of others, whether it be volunteering, or being a good neighbor or friend, and so on. Regardless of what path you choose, work hard and try and make a difference, and make a better future for yourself and others. As the saying goes, anything worth having is worth fighting for. So if you want a bright future for yourself, it is up to you to fight and work for that future. So as we all depart today, I encourage you all to try new things, take risks, pursue your passions, and enjoy life. Make great memories for yourself, just like I'm sure you've done during your time at Triton. I look forward to seeing you all at future reunions and hearing about all of your achievements. I wish each one of you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Hope your wildest dreams come true, and offer one last congratulations on being the graduating class of 2014. Thank you.
Please welcome the officers of the class of 2014, Courtney Brown, Casey Ross, Darren Ribicki, Timothy Schmidt, Mara Spears, Madison Williams, and Michael Woodbury, as they will present the class gift.
On behalf of the class of 2014, we'd like to thank our advisors, Mrs. Lamb and Mr. Andrews, for all the help throughout the years.
This year, our class gift is 6 picnic tables created by the tech department and also a donation to the Taylor Brown Foundation. Thank you.
On behalf of Triton High School, I am pleased to accept these gifts from the class of 2014. At this time, I call upon Ms. Deborah Choate, the chairperson of the school committee, to award diplomas to the class of 2014. She will be assisted in the distribution by Mr. Farmer and senior class advisors, Ms. Betsy Lamb and Mr. Josh Andrews.
Nicole Lynn Indignero. Courtney Marie Brown. Casey Josephine Ross. Mara Allison Spears. Sorry, John. Darren Sidney Rebicki. Madison Ann Williams. Kirsten Pauline Darsney. Lillian Marie Anderson. Jessica Louise Armstrong.
Devin Brown Schumann. Timothy Joseph Schmidt. Michael Francis Woodbury. Brandon Tyler Duford. Austin Michael Stevens. Corey Michael Anderson. Devin Michael Anderson. Tyrell James Atwater. Christopher Ridgely Beal.
Colleen Ann Barrett. Jessica Ann Beal. Alexa Sturgis Bryant. Molly Carey Clay. Amanda Emily Colpitz. Alicia Marie DeHatter. Claire Hannah Delaney. Candace Paige Demers. Kelsey Jean DeYoung.
Alfred William Boucher III. Adam Kenneth Boucher. Mark Francis Boyle, Jr. Joshua Daniel Brown. Curran Callawart. Francesco Sergio Canali. Thomas Henry Cerboni. Tyler Kenneth Chase. Cedric James Colbert.
Deanna Marie Donahue. Shannon Mara Doobie. Michaela Beth Dunn. Charlotte Catherine Emery. Danielle J. Fanton. Jessica Lynn Fish. Emily Elizabeth Foster. Laura Mary Frakowitz. Courtney Lee Fucalero.
Micah Dean Layton Cressy. Daniel Graff Cuddy. Lawrence Edward Cuddy III. Aiden Minot Curley. What? Nicholas John DeRocher. John Marshall DiDonato. James Gerard Driscoll. Alec Robert Dunn. Daniel James Elliott.
Rosalind Lee Gaffin. Anna Page Gavel. Kylie Ireland Gilroy. Jacqueline Rose Gordon. Courtney Diane Gould. Alessandra Rose Greco. Jessica Lynn Gulati. Rachel Lynn Hall. Zoe Jane Antonia Heckman.
Connor Baldwin Fosher. Tyler Michael Fortin. Keenan Philip Gilmet. Andrew Bogan Haley. Cameron David Hardy. Kyle Christopher Hillick. Patrick Joseph Hoy. Thomas Joseph Howell, Jr. Joshua William Janvrin.
Kelly Marie Herrick. Emily Ann Hurdle. Erin Olivia Holloran. Peyton Elizabeth Hunt. Jacqueline Nancy Jerome. I got it. Alexandria Christine Kinlock. Alexandra Page Creticos. Michelle Darlene Cuffle. Jacqueline Marie LaRue.
Eric Timothy Jepson. Keenan Brian Keeley. Graham Arden Kilty. Corey Guy Kimball. William John Koski III. Jonathan Eric Kovach. Mark David Landry Jr. James Emmett Maloney. Ryan James Manning.
Chelsea Marie Mansour. Sydney Marie Marino. Taylor Lee Martins. Catherine Dorothy Ann McIntosh. Christy Joy Jasmine McLaughlin. Kaylin Jean Mercer. Ashley Cargill Miller. Julia Maria Lisa Malika. Nicole Marie Murphy.
Nicholas Francis Marcolini. William Thomas McGaffrey. Devin Michael McMahon. Patrick Michael McManus. Patrick Michael Meehan. Brian David Meinelt. Miguel Rodrigo Mendonquez. Matthew Thomas Mercier. William Roderick Michael.
Haley Mae Nelson. Lindsay Marie Nelson. Matilda Ann Nichols. Ashley Elizabeth O'Neill. Taylor Autumn Paquette. Carolyn Rachel Parks. Asia Roseanne Perino. Sarah Beth Pollock. Casey Rebecca Flieger.
Cameron John Mitchell. Patrick Michael Moran. Eric Hoy Ninthala. Cody John Nixon. Spencer Beck Norton. Callan Thatcher Michael O'Connor. Jacob Andrew Papanikolaou. Brandon Robert Parsons. William Edward Pecoraro.
Kathleen Megan Poulin. Samantha Ann Prempus. Taylor Joe Lynn Ramsey. Alexa Nicole Riley. Samantha Lee Richards. Ashley Nicole Rosemarinovsky. Justine Elizabeth Searle. Anastasia Mary Rose Sedler. Anastasia Ray Small.
Ryan Fearing Phipps. Pedro Lelas Pau. Jason Taylor Plummer. William Dillinger Ruakau. Sean Michael Saunders. Good job, kid. Brandon Frederick Scott. Patrick Jeremy Seward. Congratulations. Your uncle make it? Is your uncle here? Is your uncle here? Ishtiaq Ahmed Sanjeeb. Andrew Robert Sheeran.
Mackenzie Lee Smith. Madison Rose Solomon. Haley Edith Souther. Christy Ann Spaz. Natalie Jane Stacy. Alyssa Rose Fabian Stevenson. Jeanette Michelle Talbot. Alessia Tarantino. Lindsay Weber Thurlow.
Eric Fitzgerald Siebert. Justin Thomas Spillane. John Michael Spinali. Peter Charles Stacy. Carl Alexander Swanson. Brandon Tyler Tardugno. Josh Ian Terry. Eric Ty.
Kaylee Clowen Towns. Natalie Christine True. Erin Rita Vopone. Timber Area Wiblin. Elizabeth Ann Wilmonton. Paige Nina Walsick. Kelsey Ann Wood. Lauren Marie Zappala. Lexi Lynn Zwicker.
Brandon Michael Tobin. Jason Andrew Tidmarsh. Andrew Sullivan Toomey. Congrats, Cody. Cody William Turner. Dalton Justy Zitzen. Thomas Andrew Valencourt, Jr. Bradley Allen Whitman. Anders Cashahoon Whitmore. Jacob Thomas Wood.
I invite the class, sorry. Thank you very much. I invite the class officers of 2014 to the front of the podium. And now, as the principal of Triton High School, by the authority granted me by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Triton Regional School Committee, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the graduates of the class of 2014. Okay, you know what? That's great. Get back in your seats, though, so we can all walk out. But that was fabulous. Congratulations again, and once again, all of our guests are asked to remain in their seats until the graduates have exited. In order to alleviate traffic congestion following the ceremony, our entry driveway, which is normally one-way, will be used for two-way traffic as you exit our campus. You can exit via the entry driveway. Please stand and applaud the graduates of the class of 2014 of Triton High School.